If you remember the existence of sun in the interaction with the existence of planet Earth, in interface position of the fields that led to creation of the amino acid, what we call Mr. Cohen, has a great game to play. We have and we cannot miss this. Because in the scientific world, in the present time, we talk about amino acid, we talk about life, we talk about creation of this planet, and everything with it is connected to the sky, Mr. Cohen. You got to understand the 4 elements of the amino acid in balance interaction when in the composition become part of the egg and the sperm, which in totality, let's say 8 of them, lead to creation of dynamic processes, which this dynamic process now tries to find a balance. And in trying to find a balance, it creates within the structure, even it looks physically dimensional matter division, but it creates a field rotation. Now you have a circle and a sphere, rotating a sphere of the energy which is not from the father nor from the mother, but in totality a new combination. Where in essence, for all to be in balance, it needs to create a central balance point, which all fields from all have a balance field connection with a center, what we call the soul of the man. Even though each one of them has its own center of operation. But the beauty of this is very simple. Now that I have created it, the energy absorbed, I take energy from the environment too, where this environment is the womb of the mother. That's how I can divide. This is how I can have more. It doesn't come from nowhere. This new soul, this new center, starts absorbing energy from the liquid, from the plasma of the womb of the mother, from the environment, and through strength from the universe. It is absolutely, absolutely crucial for you to understand this. As I said, this picture, if you understand, could be one of the most important pictures of all teachings. It's very simple, but it's very direct. It brings in the totality of 200 teachings, if you understand. Because now that you understand, you have created the soul of the man, the central energy that can absorb energy from its environment, that by receiving this energy, it balances back with those who created them, it feeds them and allows them in so many ways to divide. The vision of the cells as we see in the present life in the videos, that the egg and the sperm come together and then after a while they divide. How come they divide? Because this central point, what we call the completion of the soul, absorbs energy that becomes the feeder to the physical structure. The umbilical cord and the rest of it comes later, because this has already established it, and with it, it connects itself to physicality of the mother. Then there is a crucial point in this. This is absolutely important for all of us to understand. And it's my wish that you all understand what is about to be said. Because this is what, as a human race, we have been craving for. We've been looking for. And we have killed many things without understanding this. Listen very carefully and comprehend what is about to be taught. Because if you understand this, you have found the secret to life in the universe. If you miss it, you need to go back and understand what you missed in the whole of the teachings. As I just explained, the creation of the soul in the center allows the absorption of the fields from the environment of the womb of the mother, that allows in receiving more for each cell to receive enough energy that they cannot hold on to, and they go through the division. This is how the cell of the man is fed. The umbilical cord is for clearance of the surplus energies that it needs to be once the physical part takes over. Before that, the life is independent. That's the point when the umbilical cord is made, the physicality becomes a leech on the back of the soul of the man. But what is crucial to understand is that the soul now is absorbing from the plasma of the womb of the mother and the environment, and in return feeds into what it led to its creation, the cells. And as they don't and cannot divide on themselves, what they have created now becomes the feeder of them. But the crucial point is, if the soul of the man from onset managed to absorb energy from the environment, why can't we do it now? What stops any one of us to go back to where we started from? Be a free plasma within the plasma of the womb of the mother, be a free plasma within the womb of the universe. Then, anywhere in the space, you can feed yourself without the need to terms of physicality. Then, in this structure, man exists anywhere in the universe. Because now you decide, as a soul of the man, what to take as a food, as energy, as a way to live without killing, without destruction. And this is the whole purpose of these teachings. When the man learns to go back to origin of his own creation, before the leech of physicality attach himself to it, that man learns to exist in the depth of the universe without ever looking as another energy source, as a life food, then we become the giver of energy. We become the giver of life, exactly the same way as when the sense soul was created, it start feeding without taking life from them. This is the change of the position of the man. This is the change where we understand now we become the creators. This is where our soul, when it's freed from our physical condition in the spans of the universe, becomes the feeder, becomes a star, becomes a new life in the span of the, what I call, life of the universe. Plasma is a collection of dynamic fields which only attracts the strength which itself needs to confirm its existence. And at the same time, is what I call a washing machine to absorb those who are available, which are available, and they need refining to be available to the others to be able to complete the operation of their souls. So in fact, plasma is nothing but the dynamic combination of plasmas that, in rotation, in trying to reach perfection, that it feeds itself to become balance, it creates dynamic motion, or what we call spherical dynamic motion of itself. If you look in all my teachings, in all, even in one of the videos which we have, in our initial teachings, is two fields. They move together. It's two fields which, if you go back to it, you remember it goes like this. And then one turns as the other. Why do we use this picture? I am of a higher order and I want to feed the lower strength of you. That by elevating to the higher order, you feed me. Or you give to the others, not necessarily me, because I know I receive what I need. The choice of arrows, even in our teaching, in our books, has a meaning. Higher strength to feed to the lower, that in that process I elevate you and we find balance. And in that process we create the dynamic motion of the plasma. So a plasma is a dynamic field, in a way a dog chasing its tail. That in that process, the higher strength in trying to feed the lower strength, and at the same time the higher strength of the field you're trying to feed, it's feed itself others. If we go in detail of this field connection, it's very easy to understand, because I've explained this years ago. I was explaining, I think, this to my son. You see, you look at the field like this, but in fact, if you look at it, it's like this. Each one of these of a different strength. Is the same with this, carries different strength. In a way, when this tries to catch up, this does not fit into here. In one order might fit into here, or in another order might fit into here. And it's collective in a way, if you look at it. The tail, if you look at it that way, this is trying to reach for example, this one to feed. And this is trying to feed this one. And in trying to do, they create speed of rotation. While this one is trying to match to this. Lower strength to the higher. And as we said, higher always tries to reach the lower. And in that process, it creates a turbulence, a motion of the flow of the fields. So a plasma is created. But you have to understand, this itself is a target of others who have this soul, this strength, or they have this strength, or they might have this strength. So totality of all, and then this trying to feed this one now has received more, it creates a dynamic motion. Then this is what we call a plasma. Collective interaction of the fields, that their interaction leads to the giving, not receiving. But in process we receive that we can give more to create dimension of existence. If you look at it, now you know what a plasma is. You got to see all these arrows, and a field carries a full spectrum of all the strength of it. You got to feel a plasma, not see a plasma. In a space we don't have eyes, we don't have lips, and we don't have anything else. We have a dynamic plasma. That's what I said in the teaching. This is the strength of the emotion, for example, of our plasma here. This is the strength of vision, or it's the strength of the presence. Then when you go in that dimension, you feel the emotion, this different strength which the plasma carries, and relate that to the feeling. This is the vision, looks so beautiful. I always say, those who know me, I carry a twin soul. The twin soul with me has been with me for millions of years. Because I feel the existence of it and has a connection with it. The sun has a twin. Without it, cannot confirm the existence of itself and the dynamics of ourselves. At a point of essence of creation, we only can confirm our existence in the presence of another. Otherwise, how can we confirm that we exist? Our twin souls are the confirmation of our own existence. But in the dimension of physicality, man has chosen the physical life as a twin soul to the existence of his soul. And this is what is not understood. Now you understand. Does it need to be physical to confirm? Or goes back to the teaching that through the emotion of the soul, I confirm the existence of physicality of it, which is the physical entity at the point of manifestation. So, do you need to see a soul, or do you need to see a field, or what this strength of the field gives me the emotion of? There is one thing, in the full spectrum of the field of the soul, fortunately, we do not see things like sadness, because it goes when it becomes so low in the matter. By that time, you have already passed the dimension of the soul. So, what we call taking emotion at the matter level does not exist in this dimension of the soul of the man as such, unless we go to much, much lower in the back end of the soul strength, and then which becomes more matter state, that in this end we feel that physical dimension strength. Then the soul feels it, but because of the higher order strength of itself, is there, but does not create it because it doesn't need it. And it never feeds it, because it's part of its structure. Because when it feeds it, it elevates it.